All right. Let's try to get this straight. All right. Hopefully everybody can kind of hear me. Hang on one second here. Hola. Let me know if you guys can hear me first of all, because I want to make sure. So we've been having some serious like techie glitches here. So hopefully you guys are hearing me okay. Because Mercury's in retrograde, you know. Great. So great. So yeah, you can hear me. Yay, fabulous. Okay. So if you guys are not used to this, let me explain kind of how this goes down. So I'm not doing readings per se with this one, but I will be answering any and all questions here. So if you guys have questions along the way, by all means ask. Of course, I'm going to have you guys do that. But the biggest thing is that I just kind of wanted to start off by saying that the energy right now, yeah, not so nice. No, not so nice. We're all feeling rather pushed out of our comfort zone because Uranus and Saturn are like squared up and they're really button heads. And whenever that happens, it's like our heart tells us one thing, but our brain tells us something different. And so we have this weird fight going on between what we think we should do and what it feels like. And I've been telling people, I'm like, you already know what you need to do in your world to change so you could be happy. And yeah, some people probably aren't going to be really happy about it, but guess what? It's their problem. So I've been really encouraging people that if you're going to rock the boat and you're going to make some serious big moves, this is the month to do it. This is the month to do it. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Mercury retro is still in play here until about the 22nd. So we don't really want to sign contracts. And we don't, want to do anything crazy with our hair or, expect things to break. Electronics always fritz out. Same with, all types of energy is always going to fritz out and, expect anything mechanical to break because, it's Mercury retrograde. But all of that aside, honestly, if you're going to make some serious, big, bold moves, do it. Now is the time. It's almost just like rip the freaking Band-Aid off. Really, rip it off. You know what you need to do to be happy. If that means that you need to leave a relationship, if that means that you need to leave a crappy job, if that means that you need to put up a serious boundary with a family member that's really toxic, do what you need to do. So I always have to tell people that I don't know why it's so hard for people to put themselves at least in second place. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a mama. So, of course, we're going to put our children first. Obviously, that's what moms do. But at the same time, you have to balance that, especially if you're in a relationship being a mom. I mean, you've got 4 hats that you wear as a mom. I mean, you're a mom, and then you're married, usually, or dating somebody, and then you have a job, and then you have yourself. And you've got to be able to balance all 4 of those. And those have been, the self part has been almost like pushed on you. And that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm like, I really honestly want you selfish, not selfish to the point of hurting other people like purposely. We're not going to do that. But it is time to make some serious, bold moves for doing what you want in your life. The biggest thing that I've been telling people too, that I've been noticing is that they're in these dead end jobs and they hate their career. They hate their job. And I'm like, so brush up your resume and apply elsewhere. Why not? And they'll always give me an excuse. Oh, well, nobody's going to want to hire me. I'm like, how would you know? You've never brushed up your resume to apply somewhere else to see if that's even a possibility. So the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is, yes, we want to be loyal to people to an extent, but never be loyal to a job. Don't. So, and I mean, unless you own it, really, don't ever be loyal to a job because people really put a lot of value in that. And you're spending 8 hours a day in hell, literally. And then you expect to come home and be happy. Really? That's not going to happen. So unless your job is pretty good, that's great. But some people have an awesome job and then they go home to a terrible relationship. Again, I'm going to ask you, why? Why? So, because a lot of people self-sacrifice. They're like, well, I want to make this other person happy because I see the potential in who they can be. And I'm like, well, that's great that you can see it, but they don't see it. They don't see it. So if they don't see their own potential and you do, you're going to lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And then after a while, you're going to start beating a dead horse. And then you're just going to get frustrated. So I'm telling you, if that's the case, time to bow out gracefully. I mean, there's a way to, there's a way to do it nice and there's a way to be a snot rag about it. Obviously, we're going to do it the nice way, right? So But that's the biggest thing, honestly. Somebody's asking if they're dating. I'm like, if you're dating right now, we're just gonna plateau that out. We ain't making any decisions in a Mercury retrograde. Because remember, when Mercury goes direct, those rose-colored glasses fall off, and you're like, oh crap, what did I do? So always wait to make any big decisions. Like if you're in the dating world, try not to go on a first date in a Mercury retrograde. It never works out well. So, or obviously we don't date exes when Mercury goes retrograde because our exes will come out of the woodwork. So, but this one, like I said, with the eclipse also included in it and with the Saturn and Uranus. So if you guys remember last February, the most recent February, Uranus and Saturn were struggled up again. So it's going to happen again in the fall. So when these two square up, people make moves. So it happened in February and it happened here this month too. So like I said, now is the time to rock the boat. It really is. Put up those boundaries, rock the boat. And if they're for your highest good, they're going to hang around. If not, kick them off because they're literally weighing you down. So let's see here. Do I feel that we reincarnate many lifetimes? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you think this is my first rodeo, forget it. We've been here several times over. So absolutely, yes. Is now a good time to try to buy a house? I'll tell you, Sharon, go ahead. But the biggest thing is we don't sign contracts in a Mercury retrograde. So wait until after the 22nd. So on the 23rd, sign, go ahead. So totally fine. But the biggest thing is just make sure that you're reading the small print. Let's see. Why doesn't my pendulum seem to be as accurate as it used to be? Logan, most likely because you already know the answer. Or number two, you're asking on somebody else's behalf. So pendulums should be only used for you and your highest good. So it's going to give you a false read if you're like, does so-and-so love me? It might give you a false read. The other thing is that if you're not asking specific enough questions, sometimes it'll give you a false read as well. So let's see. What about buying a new car? Megan, I'm going to tell you to wait. Again, if you buy a house, you buy a car in Mercury retrograde, a lot of times it turns out to be a lemon. So don't buy one in Mercury retrograde. Like I said, if you can hold off until the 23rd, do it. Yeah, whole state testing system went down. Yeah, our internet went down. Like, yeah. Let's see here. Let me see. How can you visit past lives if you can't be hypnotized? Dawn, ask in your dream state. So before you go to bed at night, ask God to show you what your past lives were. So you'll get little flashes and things like that, but you can ask what your past lives were. And a lot of times they'll start showing up in your dreams. Somebody is asking me questions like, I'm not doing readings today, guys. This is just a Q&A. So I'm not going to do mediumship or any psychic readings. I'm just answering questions when it comes to anything metaphysical, spiritual, stuff like that. Let me see. Cherry, which one for a bulging disc? I'm going to say any of the calcites, because calcites are really good for bones and that structure. Also, feldspar would be another really good crystal. By the way, I am doing a crystal Q&A next Monday with my husband. And then not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we're going to be having a live crystal show upstairs here at Awakenings as well. So, okay. Correct about strong truth coming out, poor children being, yeah, I know. So like I said, that truth is really coming out. The hardest part is when you see all these, all the torture that's been done to the kids up in Canada. So, and I'm like, there's going to be a few more of those coming out, unfortunately. So what are my thoughts on the Mandela effect, Kelsey? Timelines are getting split. So everybody's always worried about the future. And I'm like, I keep telling people, I'm like, there's so many splits within this that it's rather unpredictable. I'm telling people at this point, I want you to envision what you want the future to look like. So don't worry about how it's all going to play out. Your job as an individual is to imagine the best outcome and what you would like to see in your world or your timeline on what you would like to see for futuristic stuff. So just remember, if we all do that and we are all focusing in on the positive and how we want things to change for the positive, well, then it's going to change for the positive. So let's see here. I never remember my dreams. Elaine, a lot of times it's because you're not getting into REM sleep or you're not getting enough sleep time. So in order for people to be able to remember their dreams, usually they have to get at least 6 hours to be able to get into that REM sleep. So if you're getting a little bit less than that, most than likely that's the reason. Have lots of deja vu, Lindsay, that's true. I too have been having that. So it really happens, you precognitively dream. So in a dream state, you're foreseeing kind of like the next day. And so then when it happens, you're like, deja vu. And it's never anything exciting, right? You're like, ooh, pass me that hot dog. So it's never anything exciting, right? So I'm like, can it be something like winning the lottery? Come on. So, but that's deja vu. Um, let's see. I see 11:11 at least twice a day. What's my next step? Ramon, 11:11 to me means that you need to be paying attention to your thoughts. And a lot of people, when they see 11:11, they're like, well, what was I thinking? I'm like, well, your emotions are an indicator of what you're thinking. So how are you feeling? 11:11 is kind of a self check of going, okay, how are you feeling right here, right now? How are you feeling? So anymore, if I see 11:11, it's my spirit guide way of going, knock it off. So because I'm usually thinking about something that's either negative or irrelevant. Irrelevant. Let's see. What does it mean when you dream dates, Jessica? I would look those numbers in particular up. So we have a book here from Kyle Gray. That's an Angel Numbers book. Excellent. So I would be looking up those numbers and seeing what they mean personally for you. All right. 11:01 means same thing, Paige. It's honestly, the 01 is just a combination. So that just means to tell me that usually if I see those numbers, it's like, hey, pay attention to your thoughts just a little bit better. So because the same thoughts keep coming around and around, and you're not adjusting those thoughts or emotions. Like I said, your emotions are an indicator of what you're thinking. What does it mean if a baby's born during retrograde? Nothing really, honestly, nothing different other than when Mercury goes retrograde when the baby is born or after they're alive. Mercury retrogrades will be easy. So a lot of babies that are born in retrogrades are like, I don't see this big hubbub with Mercury retrograde. What's the big deal? I'm like, well, because you were born in one. So it's not going to affect you at all. So that's usually why. It's the ones that are born on like a super full moon or an eclipse. Now that's pretty significant. So I had a niece that was born on a super full blood moon. She's feisty, and she's a Scorpio, just a little feisty. So she's cute though. Any advice you can give an aspiring medium? Hillary, meditate. Meditate. I will tell you, my world changed when I dedicated myself to mastering meditation. And don't get me wrong, I was a medium before I really mastered meditation. But when I mastered that, I went from a trailer to a 4-bedroom house in Elkhorn like that. So, and my business tripled. So it really got to a point where I'm like, okay, this meditation thing really works, because once you learn how to control your thoughts, whether it's in mediumship, whether it's in day life, whatever it is, you really do control your reality. That's true. That's true. But a lot of people don't want to take the time to dedicate to meditation. And I'm telling you, it will change your life. It really will. And the other thing I'm going to tell you for aspiring medium, treat it like a business. Treat it like I treat my job like a business. I really do. All right, let's see. How long should a person meditate? It depends on the person. I will tell you, first starting, I could only go 5 to 7 minutes because I couldn't stand myself. So now I go about 20 minutes, and I usually don't go over 20 minutes because at that point, then I astral travel, and I don't like doing that because by the time I get back into my body, my whole day is shot. I'm just dysfunction. You're like, it can't, it's just not, I can't be in reality very well. So, let's see here. So, but like I said, meditation, it honestly, everybody's different. So it depends on the person. Some people feel they do better with 40 minutes. So I'm like, awesome, do it. So even 5 minutes counts. I always tell, especially busy moms, I get it. We got moms here that have, little freaking peanuts. So they got 4 kids under the age of, 7. I get it. You're not going to have time to meditate, but 5 minutes in a car alone, that counts. That counts. So how do you unblock abilities? Like I said, best way, meditation. I'm telling you, you got to learn how to meditate. And some people, you have to understand, I'm just very, I guess, lucky. But I have all 5 psychic abilities. There's 5. So understand that some people are just more clairvoyant and not clairsentient, or they're clairaudient and not clairvoyant. So everybody has different abilities, but there's 5 different ones. The ability to see, that's clairvoyance. The ability to hear, that's clairaudient. The ability to know, which is claircognizance. The ability to smell or taste, that's clairgusticence. And the ability to feel, that's clairsentient. So there's 5, generally speaking, psychic abilities, and there's 5 human senses. So there's 5 psychic senses, human senses. Sometimes they intertwine a little bit, but not very often. And so it honestly depends on which one you hold the strongest. So usually, say my empaths are going to hold the clairsentient, or the ability to feel, better than somebody like me. So I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient, and I use that claircognizant. So I use the 3 in my readings. I will, however, every once in a while smell some brownies, or I'll smell some cigarette smoke or a pipe. So that is going to help the person that I'm talking to identify who I'm talking to as an evidential medium. So I can sit there and say, I have your dad's dad here, who's your grandpa, that wore suspenders, that smoked a cherry pipe, and he really liked black licorice. And they're like, wow. I'm like, pretty sure he was a farmer. And because his brother has also crossed over, who would have served in, I believe, World War II. And that evidence is that's what I do. And that's what I teach my students too. I mean, anybody can be like, oh, your grandpa's here and he loves you. Well, that's great. So, but at the same time, you got to give evidence. You have to almost prove to the client who you're talking to. So that way they know without a doubt, whatever messages then you relay at that point, that's real. That's real to them. And it is real. So although it feels like my imagination, it really does. I feel like I get paid to use my imagination all day. That's what it feels like. So, but you got to remember, I'm not logically thinking of anything. It just pops in my head. I say it and then on we go. So let me see. Should I take the easier job to release stress? Hell to the yes, and now's the time to do it. Absolutely yes. I don't care if you make $5 less an hour. If you are happier at your job, you will in turn over time, a short amount of time even, be able to manifest that money back and then some. So whether you get a promotion, whether a headhunter comes by and gets something like that. So I'm like, absolutely, always go with the fun job, because if it doesn't feel like work, it's not work. Let's see. Do I feel that YouTube meditations work? Heck yeah, I use them. Heck yeah. So let's see here. Do I recommend getting a natal chart reading? Absolutely. I will tell you, I like astrology because it's a little bit more fact, if that makes any sense. Same with numerology, very factual. So I like astrology. I'll tell you, there's a girl here. Her name's Jessica, here at the store at Awakenings. She does natal chart readings like that. So like I said, wonderful, good stuff. Let's see here. What does it mean if people show up in your dreams that are no longer in contact with? They're just there, but you don't talk to them. A lot of times, like I said, maybe you'll bump into their family member, or maybe, like I said, they just want to say hi and let you know that they're doing okay. But those are usually visitation type dreams. So irregular menstrual cycle. Trishna, I am noticing that the people that unfortunately got the COVID shot have been very irregular, and a lot of irregular menstrual issues, and same with ovulation. So I don't know if that goes hand in hand. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. I just happen to notice that correlation here lately, because some of the girls here at work also got the shot. And hello, we all work together. And if, sorry guys, if you're listening to this, but girls know that if you work with other women, we all get our cycle the same time. So we've been all the same time, except lately, the ones that got the COVID shot are getting it different times now, which is weird. So, but I'm also noticing during, readings as well, people's cycles are off. So, and it could be other factors. I just noticed that, the people that have had that have had COVID shots, but it also could be from the eclipse that we've had, the full super moons that we've had, the solar activity we've had. So there's a lot of different factors here. I'm not just saying that's going to be the reason. I just happen to notice patterns. I really notice patterns. And so that just happens to be one pattern that I keep noticing. So again, I'm not a doctor. I very well could be wrong on that, but that's just a pattern I've been noticing. Um, let's see. Also, lights flicker before turning off, burned out, two different places. Yep, Carrie, that happens to me. We are considered EMF sensitive. So meaning that when we're not thinking of anything, we're meditating. And unfortunately, when you go to touch something electrical, your auric field sends out kind of like a little shock wave, and it causes stuff to, well, blow up. So you'll notice that with street lights. You'll notice that you'll go to the checkout line and they're like, oh, my computer's not working. You're like, of course it's not. And they're like, I need to restart it. You're like, yep, I know. So I bet you'll never see me wear watches because they don't work on me. So I can wear them less than 24 hours and they're fried. So Eric didn't believe me, so he bought me an iWatch. I'm like, I hope you got a warranty on it. He goes, oh, I did. I'm like, okay, I'll fry it out within about 24 hours. It was about 48. So, but either way, it didn't work. So, what's the difference between Oracle and tarot cards? Not a damn thing. Nothing. So, tarot, angel, oracle, they're all the same thing. I will tell you, if you're first starting, I prefer to tell people to use oracle or angel cards. And the reason why is because the description is on the card. So old school tarot cards don't have those descriptions, but oracle angel cards do. And so it just makes it a little bit easier to read and a little bit easier to kind of get used to the process. So starting out, I would recommend those two. Sarah, I want higher vibration tips. Be happy. Simple. It's simple. Be happy. I know that sounds simplistic. Everything about spiritual stuff is simplistic. We try to make it more complicated. No. So the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is I want you happy. That's it. Happy. So the happier you are, the higher your vibe. It's true. That's it. That's it. So, and that belly laugh, you know, when you have a really good laugh, like you're tearing up, crying because you're cracking up so hard, that belly laugh lasts you 24 hours of a high vibration. Just so you know, the comedy shows, not a bad idea. Let's see here. Why do loved ones send birds up to us as a sign? Because I know it sounds awful. Birds are stupid and they're easily manipulated by spirit. That's why. Same with butterflies. So if you want the short version of it. So let's see here. Ordered cards online and they are not authentic, feel negative. Can you cleanse them? Sage. Yeah, go ahead, sage them up. You bet. So I'll be real with you. Anything that is used that comes into my house, I'm going to sage it. I don't care. So I don't care if it's paper. I don't care what it is. So yeah, I don't, anything weird coming into my house, I'm saging. So that includes children. I have 3 teenagers. They're constantly bringing people over. When they leave, I sage. And at the very least, if I can't, I'm sage spraying. So, like, yeah, trust me. You get 3 teenagers in there, you're like saging the hell out of them all the time because you're like, power of Christ compels you, crazy ass. Let's see here. Are crystals supposed to be given to us? I buy all mine. Yes and no. I guess, you know, it's some things like garnet is really good to give for gifts for relationships or like marriage. Opals, I think, you guys can maybe correct me, but I think opals are the only crystal that I'm aware of that should be gifted to you. But I'll tell you, if somebody gifts you a crystal, you need it, especially if a kid does it. If a kid's like, you need this, just shut up and take it because they're right, you need it. So kids know crystals. They innately born, they know crystals. So if a kid gives you a rock, just say thanks and put it in your pocket and shush. So let's see here. A crystal help you notice patterns. I'm a lapis girl, so I would say something with like lapis lazuli, maybe amethyst, but anything that darker blue. So that's all about mental. The other one would be rainbow fluorite. So rainbow fluorite would be a really good one too. So if you guys are just joining on, next Monday, my husband and I are going to be doing a crystal Q&A here on my YouTube channel. Same thing. So all good. Let's see here. Best thing for sleep apnea outside of a CPAP. Best crystal would be howlite selenite. Those are the top 2 for sleep, really. Let's see here. Am I going to be doing any more group Zoom readings? Heck, I'm working on doing live audience readings at this point. So I'm honestly waiting to see what concerts are doing. So if the concerts are kind of back up to full capacity and things are kind of chilling out with the Rona, then I'm back to doing live audience readings. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I did have a tour. So I was quite literally touring about an 8-hour radius. So I was going from Denver to Kansas City to Minneapolis to Des Moines, pretty much hitting the Midwest. So that's pretty much what I've been doing here. But like I said, I'm just waiting for the Rona stuff to kind of die down a little bit. That and June and July, Pete's sakes, I'm waiting for all that to die down here just a smidge. Let me see. What does it mean? When I freaked out a dog last week, she knows me but wouldn't come near me. It might not be you, Shauna. Might have been a spirit behind you. So, like I said, don't take it personally. Sometimes, like I said, it might have been a spirit behind you or something along those lines. So, need to come to Virginia. Yeah. So that's what I'm like. I just need to do more videos. That's what I need to do so more people can see me. Let's see here. What can you say? A moldavite? Moldavite is it's a pretty high vibe crystal. So what moldavite is only found in Czechoslovakia. And what happened was a meteor came in and it like kind of came in this way and it scraped the surface there in Czechoslovakia. And the trailings of this is called moldavite. And it's actually kind of a green type of crystal. And it only comes out of one mine. It's a very high vibe because it's a tektite. It's a type of meteorite. So technically it's not a crystal, but whatever. So, but it's a really high vibe. There's other high vibe crystals too, such as tektite, apophyllite. There's a lot of different high vibe ones. So don't think that moldavite is like the end all be all. But there's some TikTok videos out there that there's a girl in particular who did this video that, did moldavite, and all of a sudden it kind of shows the next thing that she's like crying and, oh my God, don't do moldavite because it's just so emotional. No, it's not. So I think she was a little dramatic. But at the same time, it is a higher vibrational crystal. And it's one of those that if you do touch it, you will feel its energy. So, but I always tell people, do that in small doses if you're not used to it. Don't just be like, oh, I'm going to hold it all day. You'll be fine till the next day. And then all those emotions are going to be purging out. And you're not even going to be aware of it because it's going to be a subconscious purge. So that'd be why. Well, thanks, Lindsay. What if somebody told me there's a spiritual gift, but not sure how to start using it? They've asked to receive guidance. Does it mean that they need to wait? No. It just means that you're not in a place of allowance. So if somebody tells you that you have spiritual gifts, it just means that you either don't believe it yourself, or you're not in a place of allowance to receive that or to open up. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go right back to the basics, which is learn how to meditate. Learn how to meditate. So I think, people that are younger than me have a very difficult time meditating. And the reason why is because everything in the younger generation is instant gratification. They can find answers, they can buy things and get them in very quickly. So it's that instant gratification. Meditation, complete opposite of that. It's the complete opposite of that. So it's literally sitting there being bored for 20 minutes and doing absolutely nothing. And you don't expect anything miraculous to happen because guess what? It's not going to happen. But what happens is the after effects of meditation. That's when you start to notice, you're like, did I just see that? Did that just happen? Did I just hear that? Yeah. If you're asking yourself a question like that, did I just? Yes. It's spirit-led every single time because your intuition is always faster than your logic can even comprehend. So that's the biggest thing is that if you want to meditate, it's great, but it's absolutely going to open you up. You will become more psychic with this. So, but the biggest thing is that's baseline foundation 101 for psychic abilities is meditation. So, but you got to be able to sit there and be bored. So, and I think that's really hard for a lot of people. I will tell you, Lindsay, everybody's asking, I want to know if I have spiritual gifts. I'll tell you what, if you're watching me, you have them. You just either haven't figured out how to open them up, or you're too damn logical. So get a little bit more magical, would you? A little bit more creative. Creativity and intuition are like best friends. So if you don't think that you can be intuitive, be creative. If you can be creative, that's going to help to unblock or open up your intuition as well. Is it good to wear labradorite to bed? Yes. That'll get you some dreams. That'll get you good dreams. Fear of the gift. What? That's my question. What are you fearing? What's there to fear? I don't understand that. I have never once feared this. You want to know why? Because I know my connection to God. You should too. So, but if you know your connection to God, you can feel it. And I know that you can because you've been through a spiritual awakening. Therefore, do you really think something evil and demonic is going to come by? No, they're going to go by the drunk bipolar alcoholic. That's who they're going to go get. They're not going to go get somebody who's high vibing, enlightened, and connected. No, there's nothing to be scared of. And besides, I'm a spirit in a human body. They're a spirit without a human body. Therefore, my energy trumps theirs. I tell spirit what to do. They don't tell me what to do. No, they try. They can try, but they don't. So that's what I'm like going, no, it's I tell them what to do. And there's nothing scary about it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's freaking startling. You hear your name, you're like, what the? So yeah, it gets a little startling, but it's not scary. There's a big difference in that. Let's see, do I have a workshop to open up our gifts? Actually, Michelle got lots of videos on YouTube, but I also teach something called Enlightenment Academy. That really is, that first Enlightenment Academy is, you're going to know if you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, you're going to know your ability, and you're going to be able to know if you're a medium, if you're a psychic, if you're a healer, what really defines you. So like I said, by the time you get out of Enlightenment Academy, that first class, you're going to know all that. So the next, I think, Enlightenment Academy I have is in November. So it's not for a little bit yet because I just had one. ADD, ADHD, what's the spiritual reason behind it? I'll tell you what, Anne, here's the deal, and I'm finding this more and more. People with ADD, ADHD, autism, or Asperger's are some of the most intuitive people I know. Why? Because we're neurodivergent. We think differently. We don't think like everybody else. Therefore, that makes us really good at seeing things from all perspectives or different perspectives. So I will tell you that ADHD to me is attention dialed into a higher dimension. So no, I didn't quote that. That was a lady that said that a lot. I can't think of what her name is, but yeah, that wasn't my quote. I can't quote that. Not being able to shut off the clairvoyant part, Brienne, that's associated with the third eye. Shut the third eye down. And how to shut a chakra down? It's simple. You imagine a flower closing. But remember, your chakras go in the front and in the back. So you just imagine a flower closing. That's it. That's all you do. So that's it. Simple. So if you want to open it, you do the opposite. You imagine it opening. Your imagination is your intuition. No difference. No difference. If you're seeing 1111, there is no difference. It's the same thing. So all you have to do is imagine it opening or closing. That's it. You got too much empathy? Shut the heart chakra down. So shut the heart chakra down, do the bubble trick, and then when you're done, take a salt bath. Sea salt, not Epsom salt. So I'm an indigo and has baddie. Well, welcome to my world, Dundee. I do too. So I'm an indigo warrior. I'm straight indigo. So, but I've had ADHD since I've been a kid. So I get you. Is it okay to keep crystals in the same space? Yep. So as long as you once in a while sage them once in a while and you put them by the full moon light to give them a little charge, good to go. So, and don't worry about it. If you don't remember to do the full moon, stick it on some selenite. So selenite charges it up. It's fine. I literally, like, honestly, I don't remember that much to stick my stuff outside to do the full moon thing. So almost all my crystals are sitting on a big old slab of selenite like this. So I just have them all lined up. And then all I do is I look at the selenite. I'm like, well, this one looks good and this one looks good for me today. And other days, I don't need any. Like today, you won't see me with any because I don't feel like I need any. So, but every day is different. So that's the biggest thing. I know a lot of girls sit there and say, well, I want to match my jewelry with what I'm wearing. And I'm telling you, what you wear is the reason why you're picking out what you're wearing is because the color that you are wearing is the chakra that's most deficit with you. So for instance, somebody who has thyroid issues loves the color blue. Why? It helps to bolster or amplify their throat chakra. So my empaths love the color green. So, and the reason why is because their heart chakras are over open, over extended. So when they wear green or pink, it keeps it in check a little bit better. So that's why I'm like going, whatever color you're attracted to for the day is most unlikely the chakra that's off for you. And I'll tell you, my empaths always wear black, and I'm going to tell you what, black is the worst color that you can wear. Why? Why is that? Because black absorbs all colors. And you don't think it's going to absorb emotions too? Of course it will. Of course it will. Why do you think people in power, such as like judicial, they always wear white. There's white robes, right? White reflects all light. So if, like I said, wear the black, just break it up with something, all right? So, but just don't wear all black because you'll be tired, extra tired the next day. That's why. Let's see. Can pendulum dowsing with a chart bring in negative energies or entities? No, not at all, especially if you're doing it out of a positive intent. So again, anytime you use a divination tool, such as tarot cards, such as a Ouija board, such as a pendulum, such as, any of the, any type, anything like that, you always want to set an intent. And your intent is, God, angel, spirit guides, please help me to communicate with you for my highest good. That's it. There's your intent. So you never have to worry about you communicating with somebody that's of lower vibration or something like that, but you always state the facts. State the facts before you start using any tool at all. So it doesn't matter what tool. So doesn't matter. Baby girl born deaf in one ear, good crystals, anything blue. So especially like blue lace agate. So anything blue for the throat, because the throat chakra is associated with your ears. So anything blue. I wore green today. I'm a total empath. Let's see here. What are the effects spiritually with the finding of graves of Indigenous schools in Canada? Man, like I said, yes, this is just the beginning. So our heart breaks for all of those kids. And I don't care what race, religion, what your belief system is, only a sociopath or a severe narcissist could care less. So anybody who has any shred of moral value or empathy is going to feel sorry for that situation. And you know what? We will never, ever allow that to happen again. We won't. So my heart and prayers truly go out to the families of those kids. So, and what happened to them should never happen again in humanity, ever, ever, ever. And I hope that they figure out who really is responsible for this. So, let's see. What crystals help with eyesight? I know lapis is really good. Sodalite's okay. I can't pronounce it. Dumamortite. I can't pronounce it. So any of those are great. Let's see. Amen. They were innocent children. They were innocent. They were kids. All kids are innocent. Parents screw them up. Anyone recommend for past life regression? Becky, I'll tell you, I love A+ hypnosis to go do a past life regression. I personally know Tim. He is awesome. A+ hypnosis here in Omaha. They do past life regression hypnotherapy sessions. Worth it. So I was actually under for almost 4 hours. Felt like 20 minutes. It was great. Great. I asked my guides for their names before bed. Still nothing. Tips. Because Sarah, honestly, spirit guides don't give a crap what you call them. They're just happy that you are even acknowledging. I would ask for better questions. Honestly, I would. Be like, okay, here's what I need your help with. And what's going to happen is that you'll get the answer, and then they'll probably say their name. So, let's see. Lindsay, I agree. Are spirits attracted to me? I have got lots of voices, other things happening on my cameras. I think, here's the deal, Tig. I think spirits have always been around us since we've been born. The more intuitive you become, the more aware of it you are. But it doesn't change the fact that they've been there the whole time. So you're tripping into their world. They're not tripping into yours. So that's why I'm like going, it really, nobody's really attracted to more spirits than not. Like spirits, here's the deal. If you're enlightened and you're seeing 1111, you're sending out what looks like a freaking beacon to any Tom, Dick, and Harry who hasn't crossed over to the other side. Ghosts, okay? Other than that, they've always been around. Really, they really have been. So that's why I'm like going, you just happen to be enlightened enough to begin to see them now. That's all. What's my opinion on psychedelics? I think ayahuasca and things like that, with the right circumstances, doing it with a shaman, like a real shaman, will absolutely not only open you up, but for you to really get to some core issue things. So, you know what? I think that they are warranted. Unfortunately, some of these things are illegal. Like, I honestly think magic mushrooms help treat depression. Why is this not legal? So we got weed still not legal, at least here in Nebraska. And we know that, a certain type of serums, especially with weed, help people with epilepsy. I'm like, why are why are they hiding it from us? Duh, we all know why. So, like I said, that's the biggest thing. Let's see. What causes tinnitus? Sharon, it just depends, because when spirit gets a little bit too close, they cause some interference with our aura or our auric field, and it causes some ear ringing. So the lower pitch ear ringing that you hear on the right side is usually going to be spirit guides, and the higher pitched ones on the right side are usually angels. So you're going to be able to tell the difference between who's around you by the tone or pitch. So left side is usually loved ones, but not always, not always. And sometimes if it's both ears and it kind of hits you out of nowhere, then we had some sort of a shift, whether that's a solar flare, geomagnetic storm, Schumann resonance spike, who knows? So let's see here. Kendra, what does it mean to find dead baby birds? It means change. It means transformation. It means you know damn well what you need to do to change, and you're just being a chicken. That's what it means. Sister's having relationship problems. Will she be okay? Well, I hope so. I hope so. But like I said, a lot of people are having relationship problems who probably shouldn't be in relationships. Either that or they're miscommunicating, which is what Mercury retrograde does. So that's why a lot of times in Mercury retrograde, Eric and I, we just work. So because even through a text message, you're going to miscommunicate. And you're like, no, I didn't mean to say it that way. I meant to say it in this tone, not that tone. Well, text messages don't do tones. So that's why it's really easy to miscommunicate right now. It really is. So that's the biggest thing, is that I'm just going to let you know that miscommunication is really common when Mercury heads retrograde. Seeing white feathers, saw one, seen a car that disappeared. Yep, those are just angels saying hi. They're like, hi, sister. So don't forget, we're here too. We're here to help you, what you need. You're not asking for what you need. Again, if you ask God for what it is that you need, you're going to get it, but you don't ask, you don't receive. Ask for what it is that you want and need and be specific. God, this is what I want. Show me how to get there. You follow the weird, you get it real quick. And then a lot of people are like, this is too easy. I'm like, yes, it's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be easy. So you follow the weird, you go, you're good. That's it. And it's that fast. So don't overthink it. You see the opportunity, you go. That's it. So, can I ask my child spirit guide to help them or help me understand them? You can, Melissa. You can. Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you, I would go a step higher. I just ask God. I really would. That way there's no miscommunication, because sometimes angels are better for certain jobs. I always go straight to the source. And my guides told me that a long time ago. They're like, don't worry about asking if you should be asking for, an archangel or this angel or this spirit guide or that one. They're like, just go straight to the source. They always say creator or source energy. That's what they always say on the other side. So that's why I just say God, because that's generally what everybody kind of understands. So that's why I said, just go straight to God. Just like, okay, God, would you please help me with this one? Because I don't understand her. So, and then, like I said, you'll follow the weird. Sharon, I don't know much about Greek or Nordic gods. I really don't. I'm like, but lately I've been getting a little bit more intrigued with that. So I don't know. So I'll be honest with that. I'm like, but I have been getting more intrigued about it. It's weird. So Is there a way to start shadow work, Tessa? It'll just usually happen on its own. And I'll tell you, the best thing that I can do for shadow work to tell you is everything that isn't happy in your world is a self-reflection of you. So if something pisses you off or somebody pisses you off, one, it's because you allowed it. But two, it's time to ask yourself, why did it piss you off? Where is this anger coming from? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be able to find it. You're gonna be able to find it. Let's see here. Good question. Do you believe in God but not religious? It's kind of both. I guess here's the deal: is that everybody has to find their own truth. So when you begin to go through a spiritual awakening, you really are figuring out your truth and figuring out, is this true what I learned or is it not? And so I will tell you, I was raised Lutheran. So I believe a good 80% of it, absolutely 80%. There's 20% that I'm like, not buying it, not buying it. So, but it's for you to figure out your own truth in this journey. It really is. My truth and your truth very well could be different, but guess what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So if you think that you're going to see Jesus when you die, you're going to see Jesus. If you think that you're going to see Mother Mary, you're going to see Mother Mary. If you think you're going to see a white light tunnel, you're going to see a white light tunnel. You think you're going to see the pearly gates, you'll see the pearly gates. Whatever you believe is what you will see. So that fighting over it, just honestly stupid. It really is, because they're going to make that transition as smooth as possible for you. But here is the deal: you won't really remember. Not that big of a deal. So just like you don't remember being born either. So, okay. Do I think that we'll have another strain of COVID outbreak? No, I don't. So, because again, in my reality, it isn't going to happen. So I honestly don't. I really don't. What happens if you pick close out of the week on Sundays? Does that change your chakra perspective? Nope, not necessarily. If you're picking them out, then you already know a week ahead exactly what chakras are going to be off. So I would tell you, I'd really pay attention to that. I really would. So, because like I said, if you're wearing red, and then you go to blue, all right, what's going to happen on Thursday? Because I'm going to need to bolster my throat, which means to tell me that you're going to have to speak your truth probably on Thursday. See what I mean? I'm like, I would actually look into that. Will the U.S. go into a depression? I don't think so. But stuff needs to start changing. So, and it will. I'm not worried. But like I said, there's so many different timelines that's hard to predict. And that's where I'm telling people, like, make sure that you're focusing in on the outcome that you want, not focusing in on the outcome that you don't want. Same manifestation it's still in play. How do you know that you're seeing a real psychic medium? Cheap ones versus fake ones? Honestly, Tessa, you just have to go with one who's either been doing this a while, because your reputation stands. I've been doing this 10 years. There's other mediums that have been doing it long too, but there's a lot of people that don't vibe with me. That's cool. So I may not be the medium for them. You have to go with whoever you feel that you can vibe with. But if you get that the little hesitation, don't do it. Just don't. So, but an ethical psychic, especially if you're not vibing with them, they will either stop that session and give your money back, or give your money back anyway if they feel like they did a poor job. I've done that before. I have no problem giving somebody their money back if I feel that I did a poor job, although it's a very rare bird that I ever do that anymore, because I know on the days that I'm going to have a good reading and days that I'm just might as well reschedule. So, but that's just being moralistic or ethical about it. So, because I would want people to treat me the way I'd want to be treated. That's just how it goes. How do you know if you're transitioning from 4 to 5? Because at the end of a 4, you're going to have a really good test. So, and then you have to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes, and then you go into a stage 5. So there's not a lot of people at a stage 5, although they would like to think that, because you have to, like I said, get kicked in the teeth first. So I can use my friend Stacy as an example. She's wonderful. She went from a stage 1 to a 3 very quickly, got to a 4, started doing all this shadow work stuff that was very difficult. And she thought got it all. She's like, you know what? I feel really good. Things are going great. And then her brother committed suicide. And now she's just down to her and her dad. And that was the end of her stage 4. And so she then, after that point, has now realized part of her purpose is to help people with grief. And now she's risen like a phoenix out of the ashes, and she is now at a stage 5. And so a lot of people would like to think they're at stage 5, but I'm like, you're going to get one more test. So my test was, I had this awesome business and my relationship went terrible in Western Nebraska. I had to get out of there ASAP. There was somebody supposed to sign on the dotted line at my business. They didn't. I had to file for bankruptcy. They literally took everything I owned, including my car. So I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Blair, and I had absolutely no money. They took everything I owned. And that's then when I had to dig and grind and figure out how never to allow this to happen to me again, because I allowed it, but I'll never allow it again. So but that's when, like, shadow work is really digging into all of the negative aspects about yourself and owning them. So, for instance, I left my husband for another man, and I had to sit my husband down and actually own it and say, you know what? You didn't do anything wrong. I was young, dumb, naive, and stupid, and I didn't know how to communicate to you in a marriage what I should have done. Now, there's a lot of people that can't own something like that, but I can own it because I had to forgive myself because I was stupid and I was dumb, but I didn't know any better at the time. And also, I didn't know that I was going through an awakening either at the time, 15 years ago. So, like I said, can I own it now? Absolutely. Like I said, was it my bad? 100%. 100%. So, but at the same time, I can own it. And that's what shadow work's about. You don't hide your deficits. You don't hide your mistakes or your faults. You own them. You own them. And you just promise yourself that you won't ever do that again, or nor will I ever hurt another human being like that again. I won't. So, but that's what shadow work is in a nutshell. So we have a lot of girls that are coming and be like, oh, I'm doing shadow work right now. And I'm like, no, you ain't. No. Shadow work, you are underneath your covers, crying like a little bitch, sucking your thumb, going, this sucks. This is hard. How do I get myself out of this? And that's a big difference between a stage 3 and a 4. Stage 3 is, I need to get a divorce. I know what I need to do. So stage 4 is, what did I do to allow this? How do I forgive myself? How do I let go of the guilt? How do I become the person that I really, truly am meant to be? That's hard. That's hard. So, like I said, that's the stuff that is really difficult, because at a stage 5, it's no longer about ego. It's no longer about, any of that stuff. It really is about helping your fellow human, but yet also making sure that you're balanced and centered and thinking positive and doing what you need to do for yourself first, to then be able to help others, and as many as you can, really. Let's see. How do you keep your ego from coming into play when working on clients, when doing energy work? Honestly, Mindy, I think about something completely irrelevant. Like, I'm literally working on somebody Reiki wise or energy wise, and I'm like, man, I got to get my dishes done. Oh, I forgot. I got to put in that load of laundry. Honestly, if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, it makes it so much better of a healing. It really does. So, because remember, you're a conduit. That's all you are, is a conduit from God's energy, from source energy, through you, through them. That's it. You're a conduit. You get your ego in there, you're literally lessening the intensity of that healing, because you're getting your head involved, thinking that you're more powerful than that energy. That's like, you're not powerful at all. Nobody is. God's source energy is. And when you understand that connection, and you also are a piece of God's light, that's when magic happens. That's when healing happens. Okay. So I always tell people, get your mind out of the game. So, and just be like, butterflies are really pretty. Like, literally, just if you're thinking about that, that actually opens you up to a so much better healing than you trying to think that you're the one that can do it best. Like, that's an egoic move. Let's see. Are our retreat plans coming, Desiree? I can't do any retreats this year. I really, really want to tell you guys why, but I can't, because I've got another week and a half before Eric and I make a huge announcement. Huge, big pig, pig. So I can't say it because paperwork isn't done yet. So that's all I can say. All right. Is it weird to hear different tones in the same ear at one time? No. That happens. I know. I'm like, I just wanted a squirt today. When's the last time you guys have had one of these? I think I was like 10. I'm like, I want one. All right. Can you go through a stage 4 before you even realize you're enlightened? No. No. You won't. No. No. That's just called lessons 101. Lessons are never easy. They hurt. So that's when they're called growing pains. They're painful for a reason. So, is it okay to get rid of or gift crystals that no longer call to you? Abso-freaking-lutely. Like I said, tarot cards and crystals are best gifted. They really are. They really are. So absolutely. Huge, big, made me think of Pretty Woman. That's funny. So, la la la. Thanks for helping me for the last 8 years. You betcha. My job. So I like to help people. I really do. Why do I get really warm in your store, Brianne? It's a high vibe here. It's a high vibe. So I've been actually told to lower the vibes here. I'm like, nope, not going to do that. So, because everybody that comes into the store, I mean, the crystals vibrate on their own frequency anyway, but I meditate here. And the reason why I meditate here is so I don't blow shit up, because at least if I blow it up, the business will pay for it instead of doing it at home. So when I'm meditating, it's just high vibe here. That's all. And then Rick's and my staff are constantly saging. So there's always, I mean, we're saging all the crystals all the time. So it's just high vibe. And if you're just a little bit lower than that vibe, we're going to raise your vibe up, and your body is then going to respond by feeling a little shaky, getting a heat flash, stuff like that. Feels like heaven. Yeah. I always liked that there was a little boy that came in. He's about like 5 or 6, and he had his birthday money. And he walked in. He's like, "It's the angel store." He was so excited, and he had his like $10. So, but I love that. It's great to see kids come in here, because they are just, I mean, kids are magical, and they're like, they just don't even know where to start. But they'll go straight to one thing, say, "I want this," and the mom's like, "Let's look around a little," and they're like, "Nope, I want this one." And they're right. Let's see. You become goosebump frozen, Stace. It's like I said, everybody's body reacts differently to vibration. Some people get like those goosebumps or the tingles. Some people get the hair on the back of the neck. Some people get the heat flash. Other people feel the vibration in their hands, chest, and feet. Everybody's different. So I always tell people that if you do come into the store and you don't feel well, you kind of feel sick, let one of the staff members know, because here's the deal. We went from a low vibe to a really high vibe, and your body is like, whoa. And if that's the case, we have a chair. We literally have you hold 2 black pieces of probably tourmaline, onyx, something like that, to kind of regulate that vibration just a little bit. Takes about 2-3 minutes. You're good to go. So don't feel like a lot of times people are like, I don't feel very well. We're like, okay, sit. We know what to do. So that way, it just, like I said, again, we're gonna ground you here a little bit, because it's too high vibe. I was at Awakenings. I said I felt the store 10 miles away, like it has a homing device for the souls. Weirdly, I know, right? So, no, it's not, Sarah. A lot of people, when they get packages in the mail, the first thing they do is smell them. And I think that's so weird, but there's definitely a smell here. And everybody's like, "What is that smell?" I'm like, honestly, it's like a combination of incense and sage and maybe some tallow. So I don't really know what that scent is, but everybody loves to get packages from Awakenings. And everybody always says, I open it and then the smell hits me. So I'm so used to the smell. I guess I don't notice it anymore. You know, when it's your own home, you don't notice the smell. It's kind of the same thing. So, let's see. Low vibrations, right ear, walk into the house. Yep, Jessica, those are spirit guides. So they don't really necessarily have anything to say other than, "Hey, we're here. Well, why don't you ask for what you might need?" So like I said, they're just letting you know that they're here to guide you. But a lot of times, remember, they can't guide you if you don't know what it is that you need. So again, be very clear. Hey, God, this is what I need. Please show me how to get there. Like I said, weird stuff's going to happen. Follow the weird. So you follow the weird, it happens really fast. And then when it happens, you're like, okay, like when's the shoe going to drop? And I always tell people, it just doesn't. It doesn't. There is no other shoe that's going to drop. It doesn't. So, let's see here. I got just a little bit more time for a few more questions. But like I said, next Monday, crystal Q&A, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we're going to have that live crystal sale on Awakening's Facebook page. So if you've never done it, it's a lot of fun. And by the way, have I got some unique, rare stuff. I'm super stoked. So if you haven't liked it, like the event, I will tell you, make sure that you say that you're going to the event. And the reason why is because I'm posting all the goodies that are going to be there. I mean, I have pink Shara white. I have sugilite towers. I've got amber flower calcite, like this rare, cool stuff, and reasonably priced. Seriously, reasonably priced. So I got a lot of good stuff. So that's why I always have to tell people to kind of gear up for this one, because I didn't do one last month. So I've got lots of carryover. So I've got lots. And Eric's like, would you sell this stuff? Because you can't put it on the floor. I'm like, I know. So, but it's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, I have green mica towers. Like everybody knows mica, it's usually gold. I got green towers. Like I said, that's just a few of these. I got rainbow moonstone spheres. I got high flash rainbow moonstone slabs. Beautiful. So I'm so excited to show you guys. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Out of moon water, when's the best time to make more? Nicholas, depending on what you want, new moon water. So if you do it on the new moon, that's all about new beginnings. If you do it on full moon, it's all about energy kick. So the eclipses are now past, so you are totally fine to go back to charging those crystals and making that moon water. So totally cool too. Go right ahead. Do I ever see purple fluorite? That's one of my goodies. So yes, I have purple fluorite, green fluorite, rainbow fluorite, but I have like white jade. I can hardly ever get white jade, so I got white jade, Buddha heads. So I all kinds of good stuff. So okay, guys. Well, we're going to end this one here. Yeah, the eclipses are done, Megan. So we just got done. So we are out of eclipse season, but we are in that, like I said, that weird phase of your head is telling you, stay put, scared, but your heart is like, what you need to do. And it's time to grow with set to do it. So like I said, now is the time to make some massive moves on the chessboard. Do it. And like I said, if somebody has a problem with it, it's their problem. Don't make it yours. Don't. All right, guys? All right, have a wonderful week ahead. Like I said, make those decisions, put up those boundaries, rock the boat. It's time to lighten the load. Like I said, get them off your boat if they're weighing you down. It's time. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, we will see you next Monday for the Crystal Q&A here on the live YouTube channel. And then if you haven't subscribed, obviously, I'm going to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel and make sure that you like Awakening's Facebook page and that you also like my page as well. And then lastly, make sure that you head to my website, which is psychickelli.com, and sign up for that newsletter. I don't send out newsletters very often because, well, I don't remember. So, but usually about like twice a month, I send out a newsletter. So, but if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go to psychickelli.com. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see where you can sign up for that newsletter. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week ahead, and we will be talking to you guys soon. Bye.